We're going to take a look at my top 10 retro handheld consoles going into 2025. Now I will say this list is my own personal preference, and anyone that knows the channel knows I put a lot of focus on pocketability. So kick off your shoes, relax your socks, and let's check out some awesome handhelds. The RG556 is one of the most unique handhelds from Anbernic and is a perfect example of what Anbernic do well. On release, it was a competitively priced Android handheld that could easily handle GameCube emulation, as well as a decent amount of PS2 emulation, whilst also providing some unique standout features. Although newer consoles from Anbernic and Retroid may provide more power, the RG556 still stands out with its amazing ergonomics, beautiful OLED screen, and capable processor. Not to mention that you can now find the RG556 cheaper thanks to the new competition. The downside with the RG556 is the lack of portability. While that might not be a deal breaker for many, especially considering that the lack of portability is thanks to the amazing ergonomics, it does mean it's a console I didn't feel like I could take with me anywhere at any time. The Retroid Pocket 4 Pro still stands out as a fantastic retro handheld. It may now sit in the shadow of the Retroid Pocket 5, but the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro still has a lot going for it. The overall design and build feels more portable and rugged compared to the glass-fronted RP5. It still boasts a solid level of performance, enabling smooth GameCube emulation and a huge amount of PlayStation 2 as well. Being over 6 months old also means that if you buy one now, you have the benefit of all the manufacturing issues having been sorted out, as well as being significantly cheaper than the Retroid Pocket 5. Despite having so much competition, the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro is a console I keep going back to, thanks hugely to its highly portable form factor and build. As a matter of fact, I think my perfect Retroid console would be the Retroid Pocket 5 in the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro shell. The GKD Bubble is one of only 2 consoles on this list that doesn't come from Anbernic or Retroid. That says a lot about Anbernic and Retroid, but it says even more about the GKD Bubble. A brilliant no-frills handheld that came out of nowhere. With a design that pays homage to the Sega Game Gear, I initially thought the GKD Bubble was going to be a gimmick console. But as a matter of fact, it is one of my favourite mid-range retro handhelds, with an incredibly durable plastic shell and very smooth rounded design. The GKD Bubble is perfect to slip in your pocket anywhere you go, while still being able to provide a decent 3.5-inch screen and analog sticks. Where I feel the GKD Bubble does fall behind a bit is in terms of the UI. While it does a great job and provides a lot of flexibility, I think casual gamers might find it a bit tricky to get started and navigate at times. Having said that, I've had some of my favourite PlayStation 1 experiences in recent months on the GKD Bubble. The RG406 is the successor to the awesome RG405V, a fantastic improvement to an already awesome and unique console. With a chunky Game Boy style design that can handle GameCube and a decent amount of PS2, the RG406V is unlike anything else on the market. The vertical form factor works surprisingly well for GameCube and PS2 games thanks to an awesome 4-inch screen, and the analog sticks have been updated to provide more range. However, this does come at the cost of pocketability due to the fact that they stick out from the console more than the 405 version. Another thing different to the RG405V is that you don't have the option for the wood grain effect. Now, that wasn't to everyone's taste, but it was definitely one of the things that made the 405V stand out initially. But the 406V does make up for it with some other great colour options, including cream, which kind of reminds me of late 90s and early 2000s electronics. The RG34XX is a clone console based off the original Game Boy Advance, and it is without doubt the best clone console we've seen to date. It beats the RG35XX, which was based on the GBA SP, thanks to a better screen ratio with a 3.4-inch screen and much better buttons. On top of that, the RG34XX enables you to play anything up to and including Dreamcast, N64, PS1 and some PSP. But honestly, this is such a perfect homage console that you'll find it difficult to want to play anything other than Game Boy Advance thanks to the amazing nostalgia it gives off. Owing to Nintendo's amazing original design, the RG34XX is also a fantastic pocket console, making it easy to take around with you on the go and blast out some classic gaming whenever you fancy. Now I'm putting the RG Cube and the RG406H together on this one, as to be honest, it's hard to pick between the two. They're almost identical consoles with only a few small factors differentiating them, most notably the screen. The RG Cube has a 1x1 3.95-inch screen, and the RG406H has a 4x3 4-inch screen. Whichever you choose, you get a horizontal handheld that can handle GameCube and a decent chunk of PS2 games in a chunky ergonomic design with a left analog stick that sits above the D-pad, which is ideal for those later generation consoles. Both devices run Android 13, which will also give you access to more than just retro gaming. The only difference between the two is that the RG406H shares the same tall sticks as the RG406V, which does affect pocketability. The Cube, however, will slide in your pocket with much more ease. Whichever you choose, you'll end up with one of the best retro handhelds around for the mid-range price. Now we're getting into our top 4, and honestly I could swap these around at any given point on any given day, as they all work brilliantly in my current gaming lifestyle. Starting with the Retroid Pocket 5, and this is the most powerful and capable device on this list. I've been waiting a long time for a mid-range priced handheld that can provide near perfect PS2 emulation, and the Retroid Pocket 5 is pretty much there, boasting a serious level of power, gorgeous looking premium design, fantastic controls, and a stunning OLED screen. The Retroid Pocket 5 is as good as it gets for the mid-range retro handheld section. In theory, this should make it to number 1 on my list, but from my specific use case, there are a couple of things that have swayed my choice. Firstly, a change I'd like to see to any future Retroid devices are for them to have the left analog stick above the D-pad. This makes a lot of sense considering the power of these consoles. The second thing, and this is just a personal perspective other than a change I actually want to see, is that I find the Retroid Pocket 5 slightly less comfortable to carry around in my pocket due to its size and premium feel. However, I will caveat that with the longer I've owned the Retroid Pocket 5, the more comfortable I've started to become carrying it around, as it is a lot more durable than it initially looks. The RG28XX was a console I almost didn't bother getting. The smallest XX console in the lineup, and effectively a small 35XX with no analog sticks, seemed kind of pointless. But that was until I actually got one, and it instantly became one of my top 2 favourite handhelds at the time. It sits in the number 3 spot today, simply because the next console lets me enjoy one-handed gaming a lot easier than the RG28XX. But the RG28XX still stands as one of my favourite handhelds, not just of this year, but of all time, thanks to how it made me realise how important pocket gaming is to me. Looking at the specs first, and the 28XX basically shares the same power as all other XX consoles, providing emulation up to and including the PS1, Dreamcast and some PSP. But taking the 28XX with me on summer holidays is where I really started to appreciate how awesome and versatile this pocket handheld is. For such a small package that sits so discreetly in any pocket, it packs a huge punch and fully immerses you in any game you're playing. The TrimUI Brick is only the second console on this list, not from Anbernic or Retroid, and it's made it into the top 2 because it's that awesome. The small Game Boy design is similar to the Miyoo Mini or the RG35XX range, but it adds so much more than just being another small vertical handheld. The Brick can handle up to PS1, Dreamcast and some PSP gaming, and comes with some ports of modern games like Stardew Valley. Its small vertical design makes it perfect for pocket gaming, and more specifically, one-handed gaming too. But where it stands out is its unique style and customization options, letting you choose which shoulder buttons work best for you from the outset by providing 3 sets in the box, but also coming with a metallic backplate that can be engraved, as well as the option of customizable buttons from certain suppliers, makes the TrimUI Brick one of the most fun handhelds to play and own. It's so good, I honestly can't wait to see what TrimUI's next handheld is. Now this may be a contentious decision, and a lot of people may be thinking how the Retroid Pocket Mini can be set at the top spot above the Retroid Pocket 5, but let me explain. Technically yes, the Retroid Pocket 5 is a more powerful console with bigger screen. However, handheld gaming and emulation is about a lot more than just raw power and size. You all know how much I love pocket gaming, and the Retroid Pocket Mini gives me almost everything I could ever ask for. A beautiful OLED screen with a 4:3 aspect ratio, perfect for Generation 6 gaming, with awesome power to easily handle GameCube and pretty much all PS2 gaming, and some more as well. On top of that, a great ergonomic design that doesn't sacrifice on amazing pocketability. If I absolutely had to complain about the Retroid Pocket Mini, it would be that I would like the left analog stick to be above the D-pad, but that's a small gripe. Honestly, the size, power and charm of the Retroid Pocket Mini make it my go-to daily handheld, and I don't see that changing for a while. It's going to have to be a superb handheld or the Retroid Pocket Mini 2 that topples this pocket beast for me. Week-long challenges for all these consoles are available on the channel, so you can get a better understanding of what it's like living with these handhelds. And if you want to get your hands on one, links will be in the description below.